You know what? Excellence is what you want, and excellence is what you get. How are you living? What are you giving? If excellence is what you see, then excellent is who you be. What are you pursuing? It's all up to you.
Hello, beloved. Hello, hello, hello. Dr. Catherine E. James here, bringing you For the Love of It, a weekly TV show designed with one purpose in mind: to add more love in the world, one episode at a time. Thank you for sharing some of your precious time with me. I am clear that time is one of the things that we don't get more of. And so I'm grateful if you're here in person or if you're going to watch a replay or something like that. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. For the love of it will take on many forms. Everything that we do, however, beloved, will be anchored in Luke 10:27. And that is to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, mind, soul, and strength, and thy neighbor as thyself. It's as thyself, that last part, where we anchor. That's where we focus. That's where everything that we do is driven from that perspective. It is my life's intent for every soul to know love and know that they are loved. That is my life's intent. And so every conversation we facilitate, all the tools and strategies we share, the guests we have on the show, the actions we invite you to take, beloved, will all lead back to the assumption provided in Luke 10:27. And that assumption is that we will love ourselves, the precious being who've been created from before the foundations of the world. There are few greater gifts that we can give ourselves than that gift of loving us. So you can't give there are few gifts that you can give you that's greater than the gift of you loving you. The absence of it is costly at best, and sometimes it's tragic. Sometimes it's tragic. If you would like to ask a question or add a comment, you are invited to call in at any point throughout the show, and those numbers are below on the screen below. So call in any of those numbers if you'd like to add a comment or have a question. If anything resonates for you, I invite you to have this conversation with me today. In my latest book, which is Freedom is Our Birthright, Freedom is Our Birthright, in our latest book here, I have the conversation about me fighting to be okay with me. Have this conversation. And it's because of that fight was because of the broader messages that I was receiving from media that basically didn't show me. I didn't see a young black girl growing up in the inner city of Detroit, impoverished from an economic perspective, not from love, not from love. Thank God. That's why we're here today, because I wasn't impoverished in love. My family experience was such for me that children were loved, valued, accepted, and that allowed me to be me. You know, is a huge portion of who I am today was because my family experience told me that I was valuable. However, and that was my buffer, right? That was my buffer, because I needed buffering from the louder messages that didn't show little black girls accomplishing and becoming and happy and all of those kinds of things. And I talk in the book about how we saw, you know, the message that fit me most came from Good Times. Now, if you know anything about Good Times, they were always struggling and never made it. And nothing that they did helped them to overcome. So the broader messages that what I received from it was that I was limited, that there were limitations, that I had limitations, I was powerless, and the broadest message was of me being wrong, that I was wrong. Somehow my being was wrong. But beloved, 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 my soul kept screaming. My soul was always screaming, there is more. Always screaming, there is more. That's what actually, that soul screaming right there, the soul pushing back against those messages that were lies, is what allows me to be sitting before you today, to have the conversations that I do today, to walk into the rooms I do today, to live the life I do today, is because created in me was something that says there is more. So Then I didn't know I was pre-approved to be me. I just need y'all to hear that message because that's what today's conversation is about, is this notion of being pre-approved to be you. See, then I didn't know that I was pre-approved to be me. Like it was approval was already done. I'm just saying. It was already done. I didn't have to do anything else but walk it out. And walking it out wasn't even, not walking it out wasn't going to stop me from being me. So I didn't know that it was impossible to fail at me being me. I just need you to hear what I'm saying. I didn't know that it was impossible to fail. Of course, I would make mistakes, but each of them were leading me closer to being the truer, fuller, and higher version of myself. I didn't know that then. This I now know both consciously and subconsciously. I now know it and I walk that out. I intentionally do that work every day of knowing that I'm pre-approved and that I could never fail at me being me. How about you? How about you? Because any conversation I'm having, it's so that you can hear the conversation that Papa has already had with me about me. And so I get to share that with you. And so how about you? So I didn't know it then. I certainly know it now. And I do that work every day to remind myself, to fortify it, to increase my knowing that I am pre-approved at being me. And so I haven't totally ridded myself of those. Ooh, we got a caller. I got to get used. Hello, caller, you're on the line.
How are you, Auntie Kathy?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm well.
What, you got a question or a comment?
No, I guess just to say I am so happy for what you are doing and keep it up.
I appreciate you. I really do. Thank you for calling in. And I appreciate what you do every day too. So because we all have something that we add to this thing called life. And as long as we're doing the things that we're called to do, the things that are our superpower, we make the world better, not just for ourselves, but for everyone else. So Aaron, I appreciate what you're doing as well.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome, honey.
Yeah, thank you. So I love when I can catch you on Facebook, and I kind of watch you, and your message is really good, and it's beneficial for anyone that has an ear to hear what you are saying.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. And so, yeah, so I'm on Facebook all the time, but also on here. So thank you for watching.
No problem.
All right. Talk to you
I'm
soon.
just glad to support.
All right. Absolutely. Thank you for your support, honey.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. So thank you. So I invite callers to call in and have the conversation. This is really the way I live. Like, I really believe in having real life, on time conversations. And even just to say, hey, I appreciate what you do. I appreciate your message. Like, that matters. It matters. And any of us who say it doesn't matter, I would question that. So I appreciate you, Aaron, for calling in and saying that, that is relevant, what it is that Papa has me doing. Thank you. And so as we think about it, so I haven't ridded myself of all of these messages. I don't think I ever will. I think we'll always have some remnants. However, they are not as loud as they used to be. They don't play as often. And more importantly, I'm aware of them. So when they show up, I know that they're there. And I have love always waiting to deal with them. So when the message come up that says I'm limited or that I can't do this or I won't do this, love is always waiting on the door to put it in check. I'm just saying. At creation, I was pre-approved to be me and you were pre-approved to be you. That really should settle some things right there for us. That's our truth. I was pre-approved to be me. What if I told you that your problem is not in the thing that happened? My thing that happened was growing up in poverty in America who did not honor black folk. I mean, it's the truth of the matter. Did not honor little black girls growing up in the inner city. Didn't do well by us, right? Not everything, but a lot of things. At least from the public media, it didn't do well. And so that was my thing. That was the thing that happened to me. But what if I told you it's not the thing that happened happen to you, but it's the story you tell about the things that happen to you that matter. There was a time in my life that I was telling a story that was disempowered. I wasn't telling it consciously, but I was telling it subconsciously. And that kept me limited in not going in places and doing certain things and saying certain things, not living my fullest, truest, or fullest version of my life. And so let me keep going because I'm watching my time today. But Papa had placed an intention and purpose in me. And so my soul, because Papa was like, look, that's not it for you, girl. So I know you're telling that story, but at some point you got to stop telling the story. And I did a whole lot. Like, if you look at the things I accomplished before February 2020, when I learned that this message was there was still a lot that was accomplished, but there was a whole lot of things that I didn't. A lot of things that I didn't. But my soul kept screaming, there is more for you, Kathy. There is more. There is more. And you got to read the book. Read the book to get the whole story about my venture, my discovery of the scarcity message. And that message said, there's not enough for you and there's nothing you can do about it. That's how it sounded to me. It's not enough for you. No, there's not enough for your dreams to come true and there's nothing you can do about it. That's a lie, because I'm living out my dream every day. So I learned to stand on my story and not in my story. I learned to stand on my story. My story is my platform, not my quicksand, not my imprisonment. I'm inviting you to do the same thing. Learn to stand on your story. Let your story inform you. Let your story move you. Let your story drive you. Let your story know that there is more for you, but don't be imprisoned by your history, beloved. It's your history. It's your story. So learn to walk it out. Learn to let it empower you and change whatever you don't want to be the same. You get to change your story. Limited, powerless, wrong at my being are no longer main characters in my story. Yeah, they attempt to get a line in here and there, but today I know that I am pre-approved for this Catherine Elaine Woods James journey. I know that I'm pre-approved it. And because can't nobody do me like I do me. Nobody, beloved. Can't nobody sing my song. Can't nobody dance my dance. Can't nobody write my story. Can't nobody create my narrative. And yes, I'm doing not double negatives with 5 degrees. Okay, I got 5 degrees, and I'm choosing to do double negatives just for you checking me on that. When we get this, life radically changes. When we know that we are pre-approved for our life's journey, we stop asking ridiculous questions like, am I good enough? Now, look, I'm getting ready to get on my soapbox because I don't even use this word that often, but I am starting to hate that question of, am I good enough? I think it's a ridiculous question. I'm not calling people who ask it ridiculous. I'm saying the question is ridiculous. Good enough for what is what I would ask you if you ask you that question. Are you good enough for what? Are you kidding me? Is what I would be saying. I might not say it to you out loud, but if you ask that question, that's what I'm saying to myself. I'm just saying. Are you kidding me? Are you good enough to be you? Think about it, because that's a ridiculous question. Am I good enough to be? You already are you. Like nothing can stop you from being you. Because that's the only real question on the table. All other questions are really about development, are really about skills, development, and placing. I'm just saying, when we ask that question, beloved, we often tie it to our identity. We often tie it to say, am I good enough at being? That's a ridiculous question. And that was really the question that was offered me as a child. You're not good enough because you're a black girl in America. Ridiculous. I'm good enough. I was at creation. Papa settled that. What he said was, you're good and very good. Not only did he say I was good, but he said I was very good. I'm just saying. And so when we ask that good enough question, it's a ridiculous question, because when we're asking the question about skill, am I good enough to sit at this table? Well, if you don't have the skill set, go get some more skills. If you don't have the talent you need, build up your talent. If you need to increase your knowledge base, increase your knowledge base. But never, ever, ever allow that question to be about your worth or your value, your worth or your value or your being. Because that's where I say, are you kidding me? You are, like I am. There's nothing that can stop you from being you. There's nothing that can stop you from being who you are, your essence, your being. We simply approach life differently when we know that we are pre-approved, beloved. That good enough can never be a question that I ask of myself because I am as I am. And Papa said that, right? Yes, there is always room for growth and development, always. But I can never be more or less than me, of me, and you can never be more or less of you. So good enough, if you don't have what you need to be at the table, to be at the action, to do the thing, then go get it. Go get it or change. Because sometimes it's just not a good fit. Sometimes there's some places I don't want to get the information for because I don't want to fit in that space. That's not my space. But when you find that it's a space for you that works for you and you don't have the skill set that you need, then go get it. Go get it. You can do that. And then stop asking yourself the question of, am I good enough? Good enough for what? So if you lose a body part, are you somehow less than you? If I lose a body part, am I somehow less Kathy? No, it's ridiculous. I'm still Kathy. So yeah, I'm mad about this good enough question. It keeps coming up. And I'm just like, what are we doing? What are we asking ourselves? What do you mean? Are you good enough? Are you you? Because all you need to do is be you. Now, if you need to grow, then grow. If you need to expand, then expand. If you need to forgive yourself, forgive yourself. But are you good enough? That question is an irrelevant question. It makes no sense. I'm just saying. That's me on my soapbox. Beloved, what if you lived from the truth that you are pre-approved for the task of living your life? How different would your life be if you knew this to be your truth? Your truth, if you knew this to be your truth, you were pre-approved for the task of living your life. How different would it be? It's a real question. If you just live from the assumption that you were pre-approved to be you. Well, my task here today is to inform you that at the moment Abba gave you his breath, you forfeited the right to not be amazing. You don't have the right to not live out amazingness, walk out amazingness, be amazingness, because you are. You are an irreplaceable, unrepeatable, remarkable miracle with your own special brand of brilliance. There's no other version of you in the entire universe. Even if you're a twin, a triplet, quadruplet, there's not another one that's exactly you with your fingerprints. There's something that you've been put on the earth to do that nobody else can do. And as long as we buy into this notion that we're not pre-approved or we're not good enough, then we will not walk out life the way we're supposed to. So, let me see. Let me get to my script here. That's another way of saying you're good and that you are pre-approved. When we live a pre-approved life, we hear a no as a not now and a yes as a of course. When we live a pre-approved life, we understand failures to be opportunities to learn and grow and successes to be anticipated. When we live a pre-approved life, we stop walking into rooms and dimming our lights and apologizing for our very being. We start entering knowing what we have brought here to bring, how we are added value, and dim our light. I don't think so. When we know that we are pre-approved, we enter a room, turn the dial up to brilliant, and break that darn dial so we can never, ever be tempted to turn it down again. Beloved, yep, you, beloved, you are pre-approved for the task of you being you. Pre-approval doesn't mean that there won't be challenges. It doesn't mean that there won't be opportunities to learn and grow. It means that when things don't go the way we planned or thought it would, that we are not shaken because of the truth that comes with our pre-approval. And that truth is that things are always working out for me. Everything works for the good of those, right? Finish that for me. You know what it says. So this one didn't. So even if this one didn't, It's either not now or not this one, but it's not necessarily a no. But working out for our good, the working out for our good is inevitable. Things are always working out for me because I am pre-approved to be me. So perhaps there's a lesson for me to learn, or simply to pause, to take timing. Maybe it's not God, Papa's timing for me. Those are things that we can say to ourselves. Beloved, our life's task is to become the fullest, truest, and highest version of ourselves. As long as we are moving in that direction, we fulfill that task. All too often, though, we don't know that we are pre-approved. We question our ability. We question our value. We question our importance. And I come after that. Like the Harriet Tubman in me, no, absolutely not. We question our worth. We question our enoughness. If this is you, I invite you to a solution of owning and leaning into the self-love mantra. I am. Repeat after me. I am an irreplaceable, unrepeatable, remarkable miracle with my own special brand of brilliance. I am an irreplaceable, unrepeatable, remarkable miracle with my own special brand of brilliance. And irreplaceable means impossible to replace. Can nobody replace you? Unrepeatable is not able to be done again. Can't do you over. Remarkable is uncommon and extraordinary. You are. And a miracle is a surprising, welcomed event. You are a surprising, welcomed event. And if this is you, I invite you to go to Dr. Catherine E. James, click on my birthday picture with the silver pom-poms. Pom-poms with the silver pom-poms. Fill out the form. It places you on the Dr. KEJ email list, and you will get my self-love assessment tool that helps with this process. For deeper love into self-love, get the book. It's not a plug, but just get the book. Go get the book. For a deeper journey into it, you can get the book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, any of the major distributors. When we truly know this, we stop looking at others. When we know that we pre-approved, we stop looking at others. We stop dimming our lights. We stop apologizing for our genius. We stop comparing. There's no comparison because there's not another you. Every show that I'm privileged to host, beloved, you'll be invited to action. So however this lands for you, I need you to figure out how to walk out the full acceptance of you. That you never question your value, worth, your importance, that you never question your enoughness, that you know you are pre-approved to be you, and that to question it is ridiculous, like you are, and it doesn't matter what happens, body, age, whatever, that can never stop you from being you. I'm just saying. So, I invite you to make a commitment to you, to grow and continue to grow in your self-love. And if you only listen to this and be inspired, which I know it's inspirational, if you only listen to this, then it's only a 34% chance that there's some change for you. But if you make a plan, there's a 91% chance that you will get the change you're looking for. And if you share that plan, that's a 99% chance that you're going to experience some change. If you do, share it with me at selflove at drcatherineejames.com. Share it with me. I love to hear about your progress. I talked about the books. Make sure you get the books. Self-love, the self-love books give you a step-by-step in there, processes on how to accept yourself, love yourself, forgive yourself, explore all those kinds of things. More Love Please. Join our More Love Please movement. It is my life's intent for every soul to know love and know that they are loved. Beloved, just think about what it looks like if we multiplied our love 1,000 times in the universe, how different things would be. Love always, always wins. It never loses. When we are intentional about loving ourselves to the point of overflow, we automatically add more love everywhere we go. So I want to pause here and thank Miss Carla Bowie for adding more love into the world by sponsoring today's episode. Thank you, Carla. I love you and I appreciate you. If you agree with us, Carla and I, that adding more love in the world is beneficial, consider joining the More Love Please movement. How can you join? You can sponsor a show like Carla. It's $150, And you can go to my website and go to More Love Please. Go to the show that's got go to the, not the birthday link, but the other link. We'll get it straight eventually. And click on it, More Love Please, and you will be able, it's the birthday one. At the end of that, you will be able to join the movement. You can join the movement for $13 a month, joins the movement. And sponsoring a show, $150, helps to support the movement as well. And one more ask, be sure to share with others that you've become an MLPer and invite them to do the same. Thank you to everyone who've already participated, who's already on the monthly. And this next show is going to be dedicated to just appreciating and celebrating all of you who've already donated and who've joined the cause. So if you'd like to be a part of that next show, make sure that you join before next week. You join me on my socials, Dr. Catherine E. James. I'm on live every weekday morning at 5:40. Instagram, Dr. Catherine E. J, and my YouTube channel, Dr. Catherine E. James, have lots and lots of content. It's been up for 3 or 4 years now, so lots of content. And, of course, be sure to tune in each Friday at 11:30 Eastern Standard to join this conversation that is always in some way fulfilling the assumption of Luke 10:27 that we are loving ourselves. Remember, the conversations and tools and strategies offered on this show is not intended as a substitute for official mental health practice. And if you are in need of service, be sure to seek out a mental health professional. Martin Luther King said, everybody can be great because everybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You don't have to know about Plato and Aristotle to serve. You don't have to know Einstein's theory of relativity to serve. You don't have to know the second theory or thermodynamics to serve. Thermodynamics and physics to serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love, and you can be that servant. This has been Dr. Catherine E. James serving you for the love of it at WHPR TV Detroit. Thank you for being with us today. I'll see you next week.
You know what? Excellence is what you want, and excellence is what you get. How are you living? What are you giving? If excellence is what you see, then excellent is who you be. What are you pursuing? It's all up to you. And when you come and make up in your mind that you want to be